Well, hello and welcome to Thursday's Tea and Colouring. What you see in front of you now is the rugby field and the cricket batting cages and the view from the school that I teach at, where I sometimes enjoy a cup of tea from the cafeteria that you can now see and listen to the bird song, and generally have a break when I don't have a pupil. The school is in at the moment, so all the children are in class. Now we're getting to the final stages of colouring our hair, and I've decided to do the background using the Neocolor 2 water-based crayons. They're by Karan Dash. I did the first half and I've just used the one colour in the blue, and this is this ultramarine. I first started using the water brush that you can see in front of you there, and I always just check that it's working by trying it on my hand to check that some water is coming out. And I applied it on the other side with this water brush, and then I find it quite difficult with the water brushes to actually control the amount of water that comes out, and one often gets too much water, and then it goes kind of pale, so I then rather use this other normal watercolor brush. It's actually such a nice brush. It's an Eve brush, and I find it easier to control the amount of water that you use. I must say I've struggled a little bit with this background with the Neocolor. I always struggle with Neocolor. I don't know why, but you can see that little line and then kind of patterns appearing. And on the page behind, I used Posca pen and I used glitter and I used various other things. And I suspect those have created discrepancies, or I don't know what you'd call them, things on the paper that kind of make almost like as if you were using a patterned stencil or something underneath. And on the one hand, it doesn't bother me, and on the other hand, it does bother me. But I'd made the decision to use this Neocolor, and so I kind of was committed to it, and I carried on regardless. So I'll let you just listen to the music for a little while I carry on and do the best I can. I let it dry periodically and then start again, but you can see it keeps lifting off the paper. This is not watercolor paper, and oh my goodness, it causes problems. These little Princeton snap brushes are really nice to use. I buy them from Blix. You can also get them from Amazon. I'll put a link up later on. You see how nice and darkly that comes out there? That's kind of what I was wanting, but I think I probably messed the paper up. I did a number of layers, and I must say, found this little process of going between all these teensy weensy tiny whiny little leaves quite a mission. I would have found that a mission with pencils as well, and at least with watercolor it kind of doesn't hurt your hands. But I'm pleased I did it, because at the end of the day I like the result I got. I always go through this process when I'm doing things like, especially with background, like, oh my word, what's going on now? Have I messed it up completely? Should I pack it away? Should I give up coloring forevermore? Am I a failure? Am I a flop? And then it's not in my nature really to give up. I've always been a person that kind of tries to make things work out at the end of the day, so I hang in there. Let's see what happens. I think I'm going to put in a little bit more music for you for a while now. Enjoy. So now we're getting to the jewel, and I'm using 2 different Caran d'Ache Neo colors again. They are purple and rose. What you heard just now was me singing in a concert a number of years ago. The accompanist that played for me, Victor Tishat, is unfortunately no longer with us. He died earlier this year unexpectedly. It was very sad. I kind of feel that was in my previous career as a performer. I have taught for many years. The song I sang was Zu Eignung by Richard Strauss, and it was recorded on a tiny little cassette recorder, so it's not the world's best recording. When you do jewels like this, the thing is to try and remember that there's got to be a light reflection, so to color dark bits and light bits, and I found it fairly tricky with watercolors. It's easier with pencils. I kind of played around with this quite a lot here and there. That blue is still bothering me, where it's looking all patterny on the background, and I go over it again just now. Excuse me. So I'm not sure how the rest of you enjoy using Neo colors. I've bought these and I see people doing the most incredible work with them, and the final result of this I quite like, but I was having such a struggle because as I was trying to get the paint onto my paintbrush, so it was dripping on the book and then it was dripping here and there, and oh my goodness me, it was quite a problem. Please let me know in the comments how you feel about the video being so long. I was in kind of a mixed mind as to whether I should let this be in 2 more episodes, if for want of a better word, because I know this is going to be quite long, but some people like the longer videos. So I'm going over this again and trying to get more water to stick there. It was very frustrating. It looks like a piece of modern art, actually. The way it comes with, it's almost as if there's a resist behind. And the paper was starting to give up the ghost as well. Then I tried dabbing on the color and, oh my word. I'm sure others, though, have had issues, and that's why I decided to show this entire process, because I want to encourage you when things go wrong not to give up. It ended up looking okay. And the thing is to kind of trust yourself, and like it is there with the brush strokes, I need to just let it be and leave it and let it dry. And that's quite difficult because one wants to keep working on the thing. So more paint onto the brush, and check the brush always, because sometimes I wanted this to be kind of a concentrated mix of the pigment and not too watery. So I got loads of it on there to try, and I should have left it more, I think, but it does take a little bit more of the color. Thank goodness. Well, we're nearly finished our little hair. I did most of the things off camera because it was all taking quite a long time. So I thought, to make it a bit more interesting, let me get it done and then I'll just show you what I did with various things. As you can see, I had a little bit of a flop with the background. I thought I was going to try and be clever, so I thought I'd use this stuff. Don't know if anybody else has used it. It's called Brusho colors. It's supposed to be Brusho crystals, and I'm going to open them, but please don't spill on my thing because they're these very, very fine dust-like powder, And I'll show you actually on a little piece of paper. Let me move this out of the way so that I don't mess anywhere. You take, with these brusho crystals, they seem like such a great idea, but now just a minute, I've got to go and fetch I'll be back in a second. I've got to fetch my spray bottle. Here I am back again with the spray bottle, and now the lighting has got such a shadow. Still, I don't seem to be able to figure out how to get rid of it. Oh well, we'll just work with it. So now with these, you supposedly put a light bit of the crystals, look how little is on my finger, on some paper, and then you spray, and it activates the ink. Let me just get it out of the way. And then they flow all over the show, which I think is a super duper idea. It works even nicer on watercolor paper. If I move that up there, if I move the thing more in, the light is still funny. One of these days I'll be able to afford some proper lighting, but I can't at the moment, so we just have to make do. I'm sorry about that. So envious of people that know how to do the right lighting and all that kind of thing. So I think these would be absolutely great in craft projects and things like that, but don't really work fantastically in coloring books, because I tried them on the back page of the Daydreams, and I'll show you here. Let me come back again. Tried it there, which I think looks quite pretty. I'm going to do it all over the whole thing and then use gel pens. Actually, now it's dried, it does look pretty, but oh dear, can you see it sort of bled through a little bit? So it's not really a perfect idea for coloring in books, but now I've got sidetracked. So back to this picture, and let me try and make sure I'm in screen. So having done that, I decided it really didn't look so good with the hair. So then I thought, oh, let me try some other colors. So I plonked some of the blue paint down, because I thought a nice deep red or a brick red might look nice, but they didn't cover up the blue underneath. So we're back to the save all, and that is black. So I'll do that as the very last thing. And for that, I'm using acrylic Americana acrylic paint, which is very nice to use. So I did what you saw for the jewel, but then I also outlined a few places with my stabilo, don't know how to pronounce it, I can't speak today, the fine liner, just in a few places. And then I also used one of the Black Widow pencils. I used a bit of cyanide pink just in some places, and then went over that and blended that with the save all of everything, which is the Prismacolor white. This stuff is now all over my hand. I hope it doesn't go onto anything else. So that was that. I'll put some little jelly roll sparkles. Then I did the flowers. Again, I used the cyanide pink plus a Black Widow toadstool, and I'll just do two more that I've left to show you. So I've left two here to do, and the way I did those was to start with the toadstool, sort of lightly over, And then on the darker area using the cyanide pink. What a name. Wonder why cyanide pink. I wonder what color cyanide is. And then to go over the whole thing again with toadstool and sort of work it in. I quite like that color combo. And then for the teensy weensy little leaves on the flowers, I've used the Staedtler Tri Plus Fine Liner. There are no names or numbers on them. And just done simple coloring in. These are just too small for me to bother with. Trying to do shading. And for the leaves, again, just simple coloring with my Staedtler Tri Plus Fine Liner with the darker green. Look at my hand, it's full of paint and marks everywhere. A right royal mess. I've had such a nice afternoon sitting here peacefully coloring. I've been listening to an audiobook, been listening to a book by Lee Child. Can't remember what it's called, but it's one of the Jack Reacher ones. I love Jack Reacher. I'm thinking I'm going to have to change the name of my channel. As you all know, I'm trying to make the channel grow, and I've actually booked and taken a Skillshare course now on running a YouTube channel. So sorry, just to interrupt myself, I'm going to quickly do the ring, and with that I'm going to use the stabilo, which is like with a kind of a golden ochre there for the ring. And then I'm going to use the same shiny sparkle pop for her ring. And for her nails, I used this Stabilo fine liner for her little nails. And then the other thing that I've done already and left a few to finish was I've just filled in behind here with the black Staedtler Tri Plus fine liner. So to get back to where I interrupted myself, I've been doing a little Skillshare course on trying to run and grow your YouTube channel and things like that. And they were all the man that was talking about it. And then before I did that, I was watching a YouTube video, and the lady doing that said exactly the same thing, that your name needs to reflect the niche that you're in. And Liz at home, although I am at home and I am coloring, it doesn't, Liz at home as a name doesn't reflect that I'm coloring. So I want to try and keep Liz at home as part of it, and so maybe Liz colors at home, something like that. Anybody got great ideas? Let me know in the comments, please. Also on my Facebook group, at the Liz at Home Facebook group that runs hand in hand with this YouTube channel. If you feel like commenting there, that would be great. Anybody that's watching and isn't part of that Facebook group, you are very, very welcome to join. So now I've also left the crown, and I've brought back the two, those are the wrong colors. The colors that we did the gold here. So I've got Foxy Brown as the darkest one, and Stink Bug as the middle tone, and Yellow Sand. Can you see there? So I'm going to put them here, but I'll probably end up with my hand over them. And I'm going to, because this is a small area, start with the lightest color. I'm just going over the jewel there. I'm going to do that jewel again in my glitter sparkle pop. Dum-dee-dum. And a little bit with the, what is this now? Foxy brown, which is the darkest one. And I think I'll go at the ends. And then I'm using the stink bug just to go in a little bitty. And then going over it again with yellow sand. There we are. Gold shiny. And then I think this one in the middle here, going to do darker. So that's the foxy brown, and then we're going to use the stink bug in the middle, so that it's a bit of a blend. And I suppose we can use the stink bug and the yellow sand here. So do the same thing there, stink bug, stinky, stinky, stink bug. My dad used to collect stink bugs in a tin into, I suppose, some sort of poison, shampoo things, when we were little. I'm always a bit horrified by bugs, don't know why. I remember mentioning them last time as well. Obviously got bugs on the brain at the moment. Alrighty, and now this middle bit, I'm going to again start with the yellow sand and then use the foxy brown. There, stinky, stinky, stink bug as we come in, and then the goldy, goldy, golden. You can tell I've been looking after little ones. There we are, that's done, and quick little dots here. Boom, 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 boom. Okie dokie, so what's left? I think that is everything done, and I just need to finish the background. Oh, one more thing I do want to do is go over her eyes here. I think I'll go over this whole dark bit and then do some white jelly roll or white gouache, just so it's a really deep black. Go, and I think his whiskers actually look all right. I'm scared I'll mess them up if I... Another thing I'd love to hear in the comments is, should I have left it at that, or have I done fine? I always seem to get to a near disaster no matter what I do. But I think half the fun is trying to fix up disasters, isn't it? So let me cover this next door page here, because I've already messed it. Actually, page underneath, messed it up already. And now I've got this teeny little one again. It's the Princeton Snap Brush 0 that I'm going around. Let me start on this side. Can you see? Is that in screen? There, that's probably better. Shall I bring it down closer? There we are. Hope that's fine. Oops, and I need to take my glasses off. So funny when I do close work. Can't see with my glasses on. My grandson, who's 7, has just got glasses, and he's so proud of them. Now wait, if I put that there, please don't mess. Pretty, 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 please. Yeah, I've just put some black acrylic onto my pencil bag now, which I didn't mean to do. I can be quite a mucky plug with these paints. It's like a little hair at the end that's sticking out, and I keep trying to take it off, but it doesn't come, and I'm too scared to cut it in case I entirely mess the paintbrush up. I'm going to wash these paintbrushes afterwards with some stuff called Master's Paintbrush Cleaner that I got in a, can't remember if it was a Palettefull Packs or a sketch box. And then apparently if you leave that on afterwards, it helps to reshape your brush. This is not on the edge of my brush. Come on, brush, get a nice shape. I think anybody that is a painter that might be watching this is probably going to be screaming at me at the moment. That's not how you do it. You need to take some lessons in painting. I must say, I've got a birthday coming up in December, and I'm wanting to ask my hubby if he'll maybe buy me a watercolor class. There's a nice little art shop in Durbanville that offers classes, and they offer a watercolor beginners class that I'm really keen to do. It's not a long class. I think it's 2 or 3 lessons, so that suits me down to the ground. I don't like having to do something every day for weeks on end. Get that feeling of being trapped. I think that's a real Sagittarius sign. That's why I've always found like belonging to choirs or something quite difficult. I like singing in shows because you know when you start a show that the rehearsals start at XY's date and the show runs from blah to blah, and then it finishes, and then you're free again to have new ideas. I think that's also why with my coloring books, I know a lot of people have 101 works in progress at once. I like to finish something. It bothers me if it's sitting there like this one now that I've been waiting to do every Thursday. It's bothered me that it's not finished. It sits there and stares at me, and then I feel as if I can't start something else until this is finished. Very weird. Okay, I think that must just sit here for a bit. Oops, and there goes my arm right over the screen again. So sorry. And have I gone out of the screen again? There we are. I filmed this with my iPhone, and I watch in absolute awe at how some people manage to do these brilliant videos with their iPhones. I mean, it's incredible when you think about it, though, isn't it? When you think, like, when I was a kid, to have a video camera would have been unheard of. I mean, we still had, like, these something 8 movies, I've forgotten what they were called. My dad would make them, and then we would have a movie night, and it would be very exciting. I mean, when I was a kid, we didn't have TV in our country. We weren't allowed to have TV, and everything was censored because of the corrupt government and the apartheid and everything. So, I mean, there were books you weren't allowed to read, and music you weren't allowed to, even the Beatles were censored at one stage. You weren't allowed to listen to them. So it was a strange, different way of growing up that as a child, of course, you know nothing about, you don't realize, you just accept whatever's given to you, and you only start to question once you get to university and realize, you know, that maybe life's not like that, because university lecturers are much more outspoken than school teachers would be. So it was a different way of growing up, and we never had TV or anything like that. I can remember we got Harvey comic books, and oh, damn it, look at that. And I'm talking away so happily. I wasn't looking at what I was doing. Let me see if I can lift that off there. Please go. Not as forgiving as watercolor. Try again. I'm so glad I got clean water. Please let it lift. There we go. Yeah, not too bad. I think if I go over that with the yellow, it'll be all right. And then I'm going to use the darker brown as well. Cover the mess. Oh, Elizabeth, you are a mucky plug. So, perhaps I shouldn't talk so much. Perhaps I should concentrate on what I'm doing. I can't multitask. I'm getting too old to multitask. There we go. Ah, almost done. Almost done. Da da da, there's that little hair again. Maybe I'll get it now. Nope. Let me see. So today is Sunday, and this is only going to go onto YouTube on Thursday. So everything I'm saying now about things I'm thinking about, what's going to happen this week at school and all sorts of things, but they will have all just about happened already. We've got our awards evening prize giving on Wednesday night. Quite a big moment in the school calendar, and it will be the last one that I will be a formal teacher at the school. I feel so such mixed emotions with that. On the one hand, like, really, this is what I want, and on the other, so, I don't know, kind of vulnerable still. Here we go. Nearly finished this piece. My hubby's just walking past, trying to be quiet. Okay, made another mess on that little bitty there. Now I think I'll do my normal trick of white dots and things. I do think the black acrylic paint gives a nice finish though. It's much better at the end of the day than the Posca. I suppose that's also black acrylic, but just using the paintbrush. All right, so Going to let that dry, and then I will put on the white dots and everything, and I'll put the finished picture up for you all to see. But before the dots go on, there we are. I think it goes fairly well with the page next door. And I better zoom out this time a bitty so that you can see the whole picture. There we are. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. And if you would like to support me, I do put in a link for coffee, and that's a little site that allows you to buy me the equivalent of a cup of coffee of about $3 or something, and every little bit helps. And perhaps one of these days I'll get enough to again get a snack box or art snacks, or a pallet full packs that I could then unbox again. I'm trying to save up for one of them, and then I can do something like that for the channel again. Thanks very much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.